Here, it's just that the lights,
Hear it now?
whatever.
Okay.
The lights are bright. Item 2, work session, huh? Oh, okay. But
Sorry.
here, it's just that the lights, okay, and let's start with the roll call. The lights are
President Mark Yearly, Marcel Terry,
present.
Tyson Eubank,
Item 2, work session.
Kenneth Michaels,
Here.
Ryan Ray, Dustin Verona,
Here.
and David Glover.
Present.
We do have enough for a quorum.
Here. Right, the light, okay, and let's start with the roll call. Work session.
President Mark Yearly,
Budget workshop.
Marcel Terry,
President.
Tyson Eubank,
Item 2, work session.
Kenneth Michaels,
Here.
Ryan Ray, Dustin Verona,
Here.
and David Glover.
Present.
We do have enough for a quorum.
Oh, okay, okay. Right, okay, and let's start with the roll call.
Really what Mr. Hall and I are looking for tonight are just
Marcel Terry,
any type of guidance toward
Eubank,
our budget. Of course, we're still
Michaels,
several weeks away from having our first work session with the city council, but
Dustin Verona.
just some ideas around how many grants, for example,
Oh,
some other
okay.
controllable
Okay.
things, but just some direction that we can take back once we start doing the draft of the operating budget. Are just some main points that we can look at addressing. I did mention grants. I just want to throw out, our June window, the application window is closed. We have one application that will be presented at the meeting next month. Some other control. And we had one application was presented in that fall window. So I believe we budgeted for 5 grants this year, and we only had 2 applications. So just something to keep in mind as we're considering how many grants we want to budget for the next fiscal year. Window is closed. We have one application that will be presented at the meeting next month.
Director Horton, for the fund balance year to date, it says there's about a little over 2 million in there. Does that, have we already subtracted the down payment on the property off of Oakcrest, the $500,000? So that'll go down $500,000.
Yes, and that's, so a couple of things on that. Of course, it's for April, so it's a month worth of activity almost has hit it. And that's not considering any budgeted activity. So when I say balance, that's like if we went to the bank on April 30th and withdrew all the cash and didn't care about what's happening in the future, that's what our balance would be. So it does not include any of the land purchase. All that activity was in May. So we didn't pick any of that up in April. And that's not considering any budgeted activity. So when I say balance, that's like if we went to the bank
Any other questions?
and withdrew all the cash and didn't care about what's happening in the future. I'll get into the financial report. What we're looking for right now is just any guidance around all that activity was in budget priorities for the next fiscal year. If we can get anything along those lines that we can use as we start to develop this budget, it would be a great help. Of course, Mr. Hull and I are happy to do it all on our own, but it means a little bit more if we have guidance and input from the board. What we're looking for right now is just any guidance around.
So on the grant,
budget
we offer, is it
the next
4 or
fiscal
5?
If we can get. Well, we had budgeted, we budgeted for 4, but we had some extra money in the budget because we had some carryover, because we have 1 year, the recipient has 1 year to spend the funds. So we had budgeted kind of like for 5 because we didn't know when Beard's Towing would submit their application to get reimbursed. Well, we had 4 new grants budgeted. We only had 1 application in the fall, and we'll only have 1 application in the spring/summer window. The recipient has 1 year to spend the funds. So the 4 we budgeted, the max we're going to issue is 2, assuming that then the one next month will be approved. Well, we had 4.
So is that money staying for the other 2 in the grant budget for next year?
No. At the end of the fiscal year, everything wipes to 0, and then we put a new budget number in there. So we don't roll anything over unless we're planning to roll it over. So if
Oh, is that money
whatever number you give me for the next fiscal year, I'll make sure that line item for grants has enough to cover. No.
So what happens to
At the end of the
the
fiscal
grant money
year,
that hasn't been granted?
0. And then we put it goes back into a pool and then it gets sent back out. So it's just, we just don't, in essence, we don't spend the money.
Okay.
It goes into the fund balance and then we budget for the next fiscal year. But that's the same on any line item that we
What
have.
happens to the grant money
So
that,
it gets
granted.
reallocated to something that we're gonna spend.
It goes back into a pool and then it gets. Easiest way to explain it is yes. So it's just, we just don't, in essence, I can get very technical and we can be here for hours. But,
the fund balance.
yes, that's a
and
good
then
summary.
We budget
For the next fiscal year, but that's the same on any line item that we have.
any other questions for John on the,
Reallocated
granted.
to something that we're gonna spend.
Director Horton, just one more, I guess, question for Fund 15. The bigger number on here for one of the expenses was the admin charge to the general fund.
Yes.
Can you just confirm, is that just a one month, a transfer that we make out each month back to the general fund for the council? Okay.
Yeah, if you look on our budget, there's a sheet before the general fund that's called it says common cost analysis on it.
15.
And this transfer you're discussing, it's part of what's on that common cost analysis. So that's the cost of the city's services that are provided
That we make out each
for
month
that fund. So we do have
council. Okay.
a handful of funds that are supported by city staff, the EDC being one of them, with myself and Mr. Hull and Mrs. Dahl being here, along with financials and the audit and so forth. So that's the cost of city services that are provided to the EDC, of the city services that are provided
That we make out each
for
month
that fund. So we do have
council. Okay.
a handful of funds that are supported by city staff, the EDC being one of them, with myself and Mr. Hull and Mrs. Dahl being here,
Your
along with
recommendation or
financials and
what
the
you're
audit and
asking
so forth.
for
So that's
is,
the
do we-
city
do we
services that
continue
are
with the
provided to the
five
EDC
budget, or where you're asking what can we spend it on?
for that fund. So we do. What I'm asking for, handful of funds. If we want to stick on the grant topic, do you want to issue grants? Do you not? If you do, what do we think? Mr. Hull and Mrs. Dahl. If you don't issue any grants, that's fine. Like I don't have an opinion either way. I'm not providing a recommendation.
We continue with
provided to them.
Five.
If I know that you guys want to have a budget for 4, similar to this year, it's not saying we have to issue 4 grants. If you want us to have that ability, I want to make sure that I'm putting it in the budget. If you do, what do we think? Mr. Hull and Mrs. Dahl, if you don't issue any grants, that's fine. Like I
Go down
really
to-
don't have an opinion either.
That seems to be our average.
If I know that you guys want to have a budget for 4,
Particularly even as
similar to this
we
year,
look
it's not
forward to
saying
the
we
next
have to
3
do
years.
Grants.
to-
If you want us to have that ability, I want to make sure that I'm putting it in the budget. And since we had that new program, we skipped one of the grant windows because the program wasn't finalized.
That's-
We opened it up for the fall. We had a single application, that was Beard Stowing. We've had 2 cents for this fiscal year.
We look-
Part of what, and I think it was by design, but there are some hurdles to clear. Be part of the new grant program as it was prior to. Since we had that new. That has helped. We skipped one of the grant. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to belabor that, but and then get too much into my opinion. But that has, it is a driver in what's keeping that number down, and I see that continuing this fiscal year. Part of
Sir,
what,
do we
and I
need
think it
to
was by design, but there are some
plan
hurdles clear.
to, or do we want to entertain buying a Skyjack again this year?
That has helped.
Because we're coming up in the budget season.
Skipped one
And
of
that's that in all
the-
seriousness. We spent a lot of time talking about it last year. So
But,
if that's
I think
something
it's
we
too
want
much
to
in my
earmark,
opinion.
let's,
But that has,
I plan for
it
that
is
now.
a driver. in
Yeah,
keeping that number
honestly, the
down.
only thing that I can see that we may increase is the
We need to
hometown Christmas event.
plan
I
to.
think that'll be a good
we
idea.
want to
maybe bump it
entertain
up to
buying a
75.
Skyjack again
Last
this
year,
year.
we had it
Come up in the budget
budgeted
season.
at
But
30
that's that in
or
all
or
seriousness. We spent
50,
a lot of time talking about it last year.
which
So
was right on.
that's something we
80.
want to earmark.
But we can have a little fluctuation in it. Last year, I was able to get a little over, well, right at 20,000 in donation. Hometown Christmas. I anticipate to do that again. Be a good idea. For some reason, if I don't, I'd like to have the funds there to be able to budgeted at 30.
That's that in
or
all seriousness. We spent
50,
a lot of time talking about it last year.
which
So
was right on.
One thing I want to
Earmark.
explain,
But
I'll get technical,
have a little
I apologize,
fluctuation
but
in it. Last year,
Mr. Hull's point about how much this event costs, we don't net the expenses against any type of donation revenue. That's not how our financials work. What is expensed is the actual cost. So if you only budget 30, even if Daryl gets $30,000 in donations, but we can only spend 30, Mr. Hull, because that's what we're budgeting in theory. Now, there's some whole technicalities that go into it, but we don't, generally speaking, we need to budget what we're going to spend without without considering that we're getting donations, because on the financial, what is expense, I don't net those. So we have to show what the true expense, even if Daryl gets $30,000 in donation.
Okay,
But we can
explain what
spend
happens with the
30.
donations then. If you're saying you can't,
In
you
theory.
only
Now,
spend
so
what's
some whole thing-
budgeted.
Okay, so there are two buckets. Generally speaking, we have revenue, we have expenses.
Right.
They don't cross. We're getting donated. So the donations stay in revenue. The expenses stay in expense. I don't take the donations and put them into the expense bucket to make it less.
But weren't the donations contributed for hometown? You can't.
Well,
They're shown.
what he's indicating
Okay,
is
so there's two
that's
buckets.
money coming
We
in.
have revenue.
So it's
we have
showing
expenses.
as a revenue.
They don't cross.
So it doesn't go straight to that
So
line
the
item.
donations
That'd be a
stay in
better way
revenue.
to explain it.
If you open your financials, we'll jump ahead or we'll go back and forth, but the financial presentation,
But weren't the.
if you go to the top,
For home.
the second line for revenue is event donations.
Money.
All event donations go into there.
Right, right. I understand that,
So
but
it doesn't go.
it
straight
seems
to
kind
that
of odd that
That'd be a better way to.
if you
explain
have
it.
donations
Financials.
earmarked
We'll jump
for
ahead.
hometown,
Go back and forth.
that wouldn't
The
be
financial presentation.
spent for
You
hometown.
go to the, they are, but I don't put revenue into
Right, right,
donation
I-
lines.
yes.
That's all I'm,
Okay.
all event donations go into there. Is we don't net the two.
But
So it doesn't go.
it
straight.
seems
One stay, like revenue stays over here and expenses stay over here.
have donations.
In the past, I think there was some netting that was done and that
Yep.
doesn't really allow you to see what the true cost of something is. And that's what I'm trying to really display to everybody is this is how much an event costs, regardless of what we might have to offset.
Right, right.
Whereas like in a case where we get an event costs $80,000, but we get $50,000 in donations, we're not showing what the true cost of the event is. So in the future, when you want to run a similar event, but maybe you don't have those level of donations, you wouldn't really know what the cost of the event is. It would be a surprise to you because we hadn't been showing what the true cost
Like in a
is.
case where we get
An event costs $80,000.
It makes sense. It's like a
$1,000 in
accounting best practices also.
We're not
Just kind of looking
showing
ahead
what
as we start to
the
get into
event
the
is. So in the
budget
future, when
process
you
too,
run
if we
similar
could have
events,
just
but
a
maybe you don't
simple
have those level of
line
donations,
bar chart of just showing what the projected revenue is for the EDC going back maybe 2 or 3 years and looking ahead at 2 or 3 years with some of the changes that are happening with the town center. It makes like some of the revenue and some of the expenses we have with it in one ahead. That would be helpful to kind of earmark to what we think just the coming years will look like from a bar chart of just showing revenue sample, what the projected revenue is for the EDC. just
Yeah, I can,
back maybe 2 or 3 years. And
well, the biggest, like you already hit the two biggest changes are land, the rental fees for land. That's it's a relatively small amount. At some point that'll go away because that's South Point. That's leasing part of our land. They'll stop building the freeway and that revenue will disappear. We talk about the shopping center pretty frequently. Miscellaneous income is the difficult. You already hit the budget. Investment income is to an extent. Event donations, I think we're amount at some point that'll go away. Pretty comfortable there. And sales tax, I can budget part of our land. They'll stop building the freeway.
It's more on the expense side and just the shopping center revenue and how we think that may
Miscellaneous income is
change
the
coming up.
difficult. You already hit the budget. Yeah, I can do that. Is to an
so.
extent. Event donations, I think we're amount at some point that'll go away. Pretty comfortable there. And sales tax, I can budget part of our land.
Any other questions?
It's more on the expense side and just the
All right.
I got
shopping center
one question.
revenue and how we
Under
think
the
that
building
may
maintenance,
change.
what does that actually cover? I mean,
Yeah, I
I'm
can-
assuming that we're taking
Event
the use of City Hall as the EDC, and that's what that's
Well,
covering.
there's,
Any other-
do you mean like in general, or is there are two building maintenance accounts?
Right.
So which,
Administration.
okay,
Under
yeah,
building
that's,
maintenance,
that's EDC portion of
what
of
does
this
that actually
facility.
Cover, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm assuming that we're taking.
That's the brief,
the use of
easy
City
summary of
Hall
that.
As the EDC, and that's what that's
Well,
covering.
there's,
Any other-
do you mean like? We have budgeted for some AV upgrades and other items that would be
Right, so
shared.
Administration.
Okay,
Under
yeah,
building
that's,
maintenance,
that's
and we
EDC.
moved on
portion
to
of
the,
this facility.
Finance report included with,
That's the brief, easy.
item
summary.
2.
You're in charge, sir.
Well, if I can, I want to add one more on legal services.
Budgeted for some AV upgrades
I
and
will
other-
most likely need to increase that as well. With all the contracts,
We moved on
the
to
purchasing of land, different items that we're going through. Our legal services have increased dramatically over the last couple of years. And some of that is just, like this, purchasing of land, the purchase of or leasing our land to South Point, our town center, things of that nature that we've been involved in, particularly with legal. The legal bill continues to rise and we're going to be over budget for that this year. And some of that mainly just from the purchases that we've made, particularly dealing with YMCA, with the contract dealing with YMCA, town center, things of that nature, the lease to South Point. And obviously the land purchase as well. Going over those contracts, I don't see that changing mainly to move forward. And then we'll probably have anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 dealing with YMCA, with the contract dealing with YMCA.
One technical point I do want to bring up is that when we're approving a budget per the charter, it's approved at the fund level, not the individual account level.
See that changing.
So like Mr. Hull mentioned,
We'll probably have
possibly going over budget on legal services. That's fine, as long as we're not going over budget as a fund. Technical point I do, but want to bring up every fund is approved at the fund level, not the individual budget per the charter. It's approved at the fund level, not the individual account level.
See that changing.
So,
So
like
point
Mr. Hull
out,
mentioned,
John, so on
Possibly going over budget on legal.
expense
services,
15, 5628,
fine,
5629,
those
those they will be taken off for this
but
coming budget.
every
correct?
fund is approved at the
So
fund level,
those are
not the individual
paid
budget
for.
per the charter. It's approved at the fund level,
Not
not the individual account level.
See that changing. You may want to point out, John, so on.
Possibly going over budget on legal.
expense
Oh, are you in the
56,
debt service?
28,
Fine.
5629, yeah, those, yeah, I'm on the expense.
Bond interest and the bond principal.
Every fund is approved at the
So
fund level.
those-
5645 and 5646 have been paid off in full, not the account level.
See that changing. You may want to point out, John,
This
so-
2007 tax bond, I can't remember if that's fallen off in FY 27 or 28.
Yeah,
off
those,
on,
yeah,
but
I'm
it will
on
fall off.
the
Bond interest and the bond principal.
But the two below that, the 1.7 million Texas leverage fund, that was paid off in the beginning of this fiscal year. So either October or November, we paid that off in full and had a pretty good interest savings by doing so. That's paying it early. FY 27 or 28.
Yeah,
off
those, yeah, I'm on the
Bond interest and the bond principal.
But the two below that, the 1.7 million Texas leverage fund, that was paid off in the beginning of this fiscal
Also,
year, so
we're-
October and November. We
It's
paid that
kind of
off.
early, I understand, but on our reserve, how do you see that as we going into next year? Particularly once we obviously get through with the YMCA building, the build out,
Leverage fund, that was
and
paid
also
off
the new
in
purchase that we just made.
the beginning of this fiscal
That's
year.
what you see our reserve
November, we
going. It's
paid
kind of
out-
early, I understand, but on our reserve, on the spot.
Well,
how
just
do you
looking
see
through the
that
budget,
Going into next,
We're expected to have
particularly once we.
like run at a
obviously
deficit
get
of
through
800,000.
Building.
I don't know if we're going to
Build
get to
out.
that point. Most of that was this YMCA renovation.
That we just made.
If you just want to do some quick math, we're at 2.
It's kind of early, I understand,
We're
but on our.
Going to take 800 of
reserve,
that.
the spot.
So now we're
How
at
do you
1.2.
see
The
that
budget.
going to next
We
year?
owe 500,000 next year, like run at a deficit for this property we purchased. So I don't know if we're going to, it's getting there. Most of that was this YMCA renovation.
That we just made.
The beginning of, if you just want to do some quick math, to Councilman Glover's point, we do have some changes upcoming in the revenue from the town center. So I'm hoping to be able to offset some of these land purchases that we've made with increased revenue at the town center, and then possibly reviewing what our land holdings are and seeing if there's opportunity there. Was this YMCA renovation?
That we just made.
But our reserve, it's safe for the next couple of years. Councilman Glover's, a lot of it we do have spoken for, but some changes. I believe I mentioned this a few months ago. So there are some things on our budget that we've been rolling over that eventually we're not going to continue to roll over. That's part of this deficit we talked about. So we keep rolling over the fountain. Well, at some point, we're going to fix the fountain.
made.
But that's not going to be something that continues. That's one that just comes off of mine, or off the top of my mind. A few months ago. Yeah, there are some things that we on our budget. We keep budgeting and then they don't happen, and then we budget and they don't happen. So we're not actually spending that money. That money is just, to Mr. Terry's point, it's going back into the big pot of money that we reallocate for the next fiscal year. So we're in a strong position, even with some of the commitments that we've made. Off the top of my mind, a few months ago. Yeah, there are really these interests, or the payments for the land. If you look at the things that are falling off, they're covered by Mr. Terry's by that. Like we mentioned, debt's falling off soon. The fountain, and there's some other things. So I'm not expecting to see a really significant hit. We'll break even just by doing what we've committed to doing and not having to keep rolling it forward. These interests, or the payments for the land. If you look at the things that are falling off, they're covered by Mr. Terry's by that. Like we mentioned, debt's falling off soon.
Any other questions for
And
John?
there's some other things. So I'm not
I
expecting.
guess we combined, item 2A and
Break even just by
3A
doing
dot
what we're
one
committed to doing and not
together.
having to
That
keep
was the that was the finance report, right, John? Or are you gonna give us a formal finance?
I can give my normal rundown, but again, sir, you're in charge of the meetings.
Okay, well-
Debt's falling off.
Okay, we'll move on to the finance report
Some other
for the
things.
economic
So-
development.
I'm not
Corporation.
expecting.
We combined,
The usual,
item
just going through
2A.
comparing to the prior year, our sales tax revenues now. I'll pause.
That was the
As usual,
report, right,
what I
John?
give to council doesn't have everything that's on this, just due to timing of when we get our town center information. You're in charge of the meetings. But our sales tax, we're actually a little bit ahead of budget compared to last year, 41% this year compared to 37%.
And,
The usual, our rental fees, the budget, we're 58% through the year, 56% to budget. There's always a little bit of timing with that, so I'm comfortable. Everything that's on this, just due to. Our EDC operations expenditures, 67% to budget. That's as expected with the remodeling that we have going on. Last year, 41. Town center expenditures at 32%. Our fund balance, we've hit on that a little bit. 58%. Just over $2 million. This time last year, we had 2.1 million as a point of comparison. Our EDC operations expenditures. So if we have any questions about either topic, the remodeling that they have going on. Here, 41. Town center expenditures at 32%.
Thank you, John. Any other questions?
Fund balance, we've hit on that a little bit. Thank you.
Right,
Just over
moving on.
dollars this time last.
Town center development update.
As a point of comparison.
Yes, sir.
Our EDC
As you can tell on the staff report,
We haven't-
Craig, he just gave us a
Other topics
synopsis of some of the
going on.
happenings with building
Town
one.
center.
Obviously, last month or
Any
a
other
couple of weeks
questions?
ago, we talked about a sewer line that we had to replace and some other
Town center
damage that's been,
development update.
that has happened at building one. We also on the staff report, City Electric, they were utilizing a forklift and they were drawing part of the antique mall front window, front doorway. Sewer line. With that also, some other damage that's been, damage was done, but we also found other damage to the building where City Electric, they were utilizing the entryway had dropped 4 inches. So we had a big gap window in the front entry. So we've had to come in and do with that also foundation repair for that as well. All that has been completed. Found other damage. Building 4, Craig is in discussion and contract with Almost Famous. So we had a burger and wings. That is looking very promising for them to come in and get a deal done where we can have a new hamburger restaurant here in town. So that has been completed. Building 3 is still, been approved to build. However, they still do not have a tenant yet to move in to start the building. But as you, that is where they are approved to move forward with, get a deal done, funding avenue. Hamburger restaurant here in town. So that has been completed. Building 3 is.
That's right. On the antique mall update, it says we need, on the back, it says we need a go or no-go decision to move forward with injecting the filler and site. Do you need a vote from us on that, or is that already taken care of?
That is where they are approved to come in with, get a deal done, funding avenue. Hamburger restaurant here in town. So that has been completed. Building 3 is.
That's right. On the antique mall update, it says we need, on the back, it says we need a go or no-go decision to move forward.
Right,
with
moving
injecting the
on.
filler and site. Do you need a vote from us on that, or is that already?
Consent
taken care of?
agenda.
Where.
Item 1, approve the minutes from May 11th, 2026 meeting.
hamburger restaurant here in town, so that is being completed. Building 3 is.
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda.
It's been moved in second.
I'll second.
Go or no.
Been moved in second. All in favor?
Do you need a vote from us on that, or is that?
Consent agenda, opposed. Item 1, approve the minutes. Motion carries. May 11th, 2026 meeting. All right, item C, items for individual consideration, discussion and or action.
Approve consent agenda.
9/11 Memorial 25th Anniversary Challenge Coins. Been moved in second.
Yes,
All
sir.
in favor?
As you can tell, there's some renderings of
Agenda, opposed.
the coin that
Item
we're
1, approve the minute.
looking to purchase.
2026
There
meeting.
was several comments that was made on how many to
Items for individual consideration,
purchase.
discussion.
The
and or
cost for 500 is roughly
9/11 Memorial
$3,200.
25th Anniversary.
Which is a pretty reasonable
Been moved in
price.
second.
Yes, sir. That costs, obviously, the less you purchase, the higher the individual cost for each one. Looking roughly, if we buy 2 of them, there was several 2,100 on how many. So there is a little bit of price difference in it. With cost for 500, Mr. Glover's recommendation, I think I would like to come in and make a purchase for 500. That cost, again, it's within the 3,200 mark. If you approve, either option 1 or option 2, if we buy 2 of them, you can tell, the one on the left, that's the backside where it has our 9/11 memorial. I don't see any changing to that. Recommendation, I think I would like to come in and, but on the opposite side, obviously, we have 2 different options. One of them was a gold plated, either option 1 or American flag. And the other one is a colored American flag with the city logo, in the middle of the. I don't see any changing to that. I'd love to have your opinion on which one you would like to move forward with. On the opposite side, obviously, we have 2 different options. One of them is a gold.
I'll give my opinion.
plated,
I like option 2.
And the other one.
And the reason why I like option 2, because it looks like option 1 is too busy with all the colors. And I just don't think red, white, and blue and green go
I'd
together.
love to
But
have your opinion on which one.
that's my
you would
opinion
like
about it.
to
But I really like,
Opposite side,
option
obviously,
2.
we have 2
I think it just
different
pops out.
options. The gold
I'll give my opinion.
plated,
So I'll agree with Mayor Pro Tem. I think aesthetically, option 2 looks better with the greening as the gold. But I think option 1 sticks with the US flag code a little bit better, because we're not changing the colors of the flag.
opinion on
Uh,
which one
That's my
you would
opinion.
like
Mr.
to-
Earl, quick question. Do we feel like having the words Town Center Plaza are necessary on the coin? Agree with Mayor Pro Tem. Could we change that to say Kennedale, Texas, or something else? I'm not sure. I just, where's the Town Center Plaza part coming from?
It was just given the location. That's ultimately, it was the only reason why I put Town Center Plaza. If we want to put Kennedale, Texas, honestly, I'm open with it. I was just trying to get a location of where the 9/11 memorial is located.
Else?
That was,
I'm not sure. I just, where's the Town Center Plaza part coming from? US flag code.
it was just.
Give
given
my
the
opinion,
location.
I like
That's
option 1 just
ultimately
because it
was
matches
only
the
reason why I
other
put
side
Town
with red,
Center
white, and
Plaza.
blue, but I'm
If
on
we
either
want
way.
to
I
put
like the
Kennedale,
gold and green
Texas,
because kind of
honestly, I'm open with it. I was just trying to get a location of where the 9/11.
That didn't really help much, but
Thank you.
Where's the Town Center Plaza part coming from?
Option 1 or option 2?
it was just give my opinion. I like
For both
option 1
towns,
just because it
we
matches
vote on
the
this tonight.
other side with red, white, and blue.
Mr. Glover, did you have
I'm
anything
on
else?
either way. I like the gold and green because
No, just as, I think,
I'm open with it.
I would go with option
Trying
1.
to get a
Just
location where
the kind of keeps the red, white, and blue.
That didn't really
And
help
I would
much.
just changing Town Center Plaza to say Kennedale,
Thank you.
Texas. Where's the Town Center Plaza? My only 2 cents.
Option 1
Do we
or
want to
option
table
2?
this until
My opinion,
we have
I like
a full board next session, or do you need to get moving on this now?
Mr. Glover, did you have anything else? I have
No,
talked to
just as I
Mr.
think-
Ryan.
I would go
Ray.
option.
He had
Kind of
liked
keeps the red, white,
option
and blue.
2
really help
I would
as well.
just changing Town Center Plaza.
I have not talked to Mr. Packer.
My only 2 cents.
Option 1
Do we
or
want to
option
table
2?
this until, what's the tally so far? You got full board
Two,
next
2 and 2.
session, or do you need to?
As a
get
whole,
moving on this?
now, option 1,
That's
good to me.
Mr. Ryan.
but is there a way to change that K
He
to,
had
like,
liked option 2.
Mr. Michaels liked the gold, why not change that K at the top, option 1 to a gold?
Do we want to table this until, what's the tally so far?
I prefer not.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's not that we can't, it's just not our city color.
Option 1,
I prefer not to change it if.
But is there a way to change that K to?
It's
Mr. Michaels likes
our
the
city
gold.
color,
Well, I like
not-
option one, yeah, changing the color flag, option one to a gold.
Do we want to table this until what's the tally so far?
I prefer not.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's
Sorry.
not that we can't. One's not our city.
Was-
color.
Option one.
I prefer not to change it. Texas.
In Kennedale, Texas, well, the whole thing about it is if you Google Kennedale, it's the only
Well, I like option one, yeah.
city in the world named Kennedale.
We want to
So-
table this until what's the tally so
I
far?
prefer
Kind
not.
of,
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
one of the deals that when I sit there and look at it, was option one wouldn't be so bad
I prefer not to.
if
change
we
it.
got rid of the US flag and put the Texas flag in there. But that's just me. I mean,
Option one, yeah.
we're our own country, come on. But,
9/11 Memorial, we probably shouldn't do that.
right, but I mean, it's kind of like when I sit there and look, it's all about Kennedale any way you look at it. I mean, it's our memorial, you know, but it happened nationwide. I just think to me, with option one, it looks too busy. And that was one of the questions I brought up, was changing the K to a gold, and it probably wouldn't look so bad, but I do believe that, you know, that is our brand. So we should keep it green. So that, I mean, that's the reason I chose option. I just think to me, it's not so busy.
Is there a way to make the
It
flag
looks
not
busy.
wave and be straight across the board? Would that help
That was
it
one of the
not look so
questions I
busy
brought
with
up,
the
was
bottom of the
changing
K?
To a gold, and it probably wouldn't look so bad, but I do believe that, you know, that is our brand.
I'm not
So we
changing
should keep it
everybody's
green.
design.
So that, I
don't
mean,
know.
that's the reason I
Just-
chose option.
This is just
It's
spitballing,
it's
but-
not so
No,
busy.
Is there a way to
you know,
make the flag not wave?
This is,
And be
this
straight
is
across the
good.
board? Would that
It's
help
not that we
it
can,
not
we can
look
go
so
and
busy
change
with
some
the
of
bottom
this.
of the K?
It's not that we can't,
Wouldn't look so
or
bad.
wait for the other guys to be here.
Believe that, you know,
I can
that is our
give,
brand. It's all-
I'm not
so we
changing
should keep it
everybody's
Tyson a
design.
call and get his.
That's the reason I chose option. How much time do they need to make these? If we're doing 500 coins, what would,
you know,
either-
Flag not wave?
This is
And
4 to
be
6.
straight
This is
across the
good.
board?
It's
Well-
not that we can, we can go and change some
Bottom
of
of
this.
the K.
It's not, well, at this point, I think the colored flag is, I can give the route to go. Tyson a call and get his.
That's the reason I chose option. How much time do they
Just
need
to
to
make a
make
note,
these?
not
If we're
that it
doing
necessarily
500
matters, but we do have the American and the Texas flag. 4 to 6 is good. It's
Well-
not that we can go and change some of this. It's not, well,
If we,
at this point,
since there's only one
I think the
Kennedale in the world
colored
apparently,
flag
which is great.
I can give.
If we don't want to
route to
add,
go.
if we don't replace Town Center Plaza with Texas, could we replace
How
Town
much-
Center
how much
Plaza
time
with
do
something
they
like
need to
Never
Not that
Forget?
it matters, but we do have the American.
9/11 base slogan,
Four to
kind of
six
come from that.
Yeah, absolutely. We can go and change some. Yeah, we can do that. It's not, well,
If we,
at this point,
since there's only one Kennedale in the world apparently, if we change Town Center Plaza to, if we don't
We're
want to,
changing it.
if we don't replace Town
I
Center.
do like
Plaza
the
with
Texas part, don't get me wrong.
replace
Maybe we need to do on the top,
Never
Kennedale,
Forget.
Texas.
but we do.
Never
have-
forget.
9/11 base slogan, kind of come from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we abbreviate Texas or keep it,
Yeah, we can do
spell it
that.
out?
It's not, well,
If we,
at this point,
since there's only one
I think the-
Kennedale in the world, because if we're wrapping that across the top, it'll, if we don't want to,
Well, that's what I'm kind of looking at right now, looking at the font.
from like 10 o'clock all the way over to 2 at least.
Top.
If we're thinking about this as the faces on
I
a.
think it would, either way would be okay. I mean, if you do
yeah. absolutely.
Kennedale
Do we abbreviate Texas?
and just
or
do
keep it
TX,
spelled
I
out?
mean, technically you gotta have a
At this point,
comma in there.
Because if we're wrapping that
After
across
you
the
can just do Kennedale, Texas, because a lot of times, you know, I travel to a lot of places and when I tell them I'm from Kennedale, their first place they ask is, I think where's Kennedale, you know, and I have to describe it, even if when I'm out of state. And I'm like, it's in Texas, and just do TX. So I imagine these coins are gonna travel in there. So that's the reason why I was kind of looking at, because a lot of the K with the Texas flag, and then that just takes Texas out of it, because we have the flag on the back, but. You know, and I have to describe it. even
Well, I
if
do like the Texas flag being on the front, and to be honest with you, I didn't notice that until you said it, so.
I imagine.
Guess I didn't pay attention too close to the front picture.
That's the reason why I was kind of looking at, because a lot of the K. with
So
the
where do we
Texas
land?
flag, and then that just takes
Option 1,
Texas out of it.
add
Because we have
Texas
the
to the
flag.
top.
But-
So Kennedale comma TX or Kennedale comma Texas? I'd say spell it out, because not everyone, if you say this is going to travel the world, not everyone knows the abbreviation for Texas is TX. So spell it out, and then at the bottom, if we can squeeze in something like Never Forget. if it makes the whole thing look really busy where you can't really tell where one word stops and the next one starts, and we have to cut something. I would say spell it out, because not everyone, if you say this is going to travel the world, not everyone knows the abbreviation for text is TX. So spell it out, and then at the bottom, if we can squeeze in something like never forget. And then text is spelled out. If it makes the whole thing look really busy where you can't really tell where one word stops and the next one starts, and we have to cut something. I would say spell it out, because not everyone, if you say this is going to travel the world, not everyone knows the abbreviation for
You
text.
want, we will never forget.
So
Is
spell
that
it out,
correct?
and then at the bottom, if we can squeeze in something like never forget. Do we need a we, or just say never forget? If it makes the whole thing look really busy, I don't see a lot of we, and I see that in writing. Stops, and the next one starts, and we have to just to never forget.
That's my take
Spell it
on
out.
it.
Not everyone, if you say this is going to travel the world.
Well, if you want to do that, you can do
y'all never
You want, we will never forget. Is that correct?
And then at the
I'm good
bottom,
with that.
do we need a we, or just say never forget? If it makes the whole thing look really busy, I don't see. All right, so Daryl, you've got, I took notes also, but just make sure we're all lining in, never forget. Across the top, Kennedale, we're adding comma, Texas spelled out, TEXAS. Y'all never.
You want, we
At the
will
bottom,
never
striking Town Center Plaza and replacing with never
With
forget.
that.
Do we need a we? Are all good with that? If it makes the whole thing look really busy, I don't see. All right, so Daryl, you've got, I took
Everybody
notes
like
also,
that?
just make sure we're all lining in, never forget. Across the top, Kennedale, or you just need to go back to the build out designer at the edits and then bring it back.
Yeah,
The
I
bottom,
think what I'll do, I'll just go back.
striking
I really, I don't need a decision on it. I can just make the
Y'all good with that?
purchase. But I'll send you the rendering. So if you'll look at your emails the next couple of days,
Daryl, you've got.
I will send a new rendering and take a look at it. You know,
Across the top, Kennedale, or you just need to go back to the build out designer at the edits and then bring it back.
Yeah,
The
I
bottom,
think what I'll do, I'll
striking
just go back. I really, I don't need a decision on it. I can just
If
make
you
the
look at
purchase.
the
But I'll
actual
send you
memorial to the
rendering,
left
so
of
if
the
you'll look
wall,
at your emails
of the
next
police
couple
wall,
of days,
Daryl, you've got.
you
I
can
will
see
send
where
a new
the
rendering and
decorative fences in there.
Across the top, Kennedale, or you just need to
It just
go
looks
back
like
to the
going
build out
hard.
designer at the edits and then bring it back.
Yeah,
The bottom,
that's what I'll do. I'll just go back. I really, I don't need a decision on it. I can just
If
make
you
the
look at
purchase.
the, I think it would just look
I'll
better
send
as
you
memorial to the
rendering,
left
so
or
if you'll
just call it that.
I
You
will
see
send
where
a new
the
rendering and
decorative fences in there.
across the top, Kennedale, or you just need to go
Looks
back
like
to the
going
build out
hard.
designer at the. Well, if we're making changes to the front of the logo also, you can also get rid of the trees in the background and keep it a little more,
I can just
If
make
you
the
look-
almost make it simpler in terms of it's just the memorial and that's it. To your point, we take the fence out, take the trees out of the background, so blue sky. Kennedale, you just need to go
Looks
back
like
to the
going
build out
hard.
designer.
Yeah, but I think the trees give it character, and when you look at that angle where that picture was taken, you actually get the trees, and they took out the clock tower. So that's what you're not seeing there.
To your point, we take the fence out, take the trees out of the background, so blue sky. Kennedale, you just need to go
Looks
back
like
to the
going
build out
hard.
designer.
Yeah, but I think the trees give it character, and when you look at that angle where that picture was taken,
So the only change we're making on the front
trees,
is
and
the
they took out the
taking the
clock
fence
tower.
out of the left side, just.
So that's what you're not.
Which I'm
seeing
totally
there.
fine with. To your point, we take the fence out.
I'll send
That's
the
really it.
rendering without no trees as well.
We'll
We'll just, we like it, we like it.
Yeah, but I think the trees give it character, and when you look at that angle where that picture was taken,
So the only change we're making on the front is
trees,
the
and they took out the
taking the
clock
fence
tower.
out of the left side, just.
So that's what you're not.
Which I'm
seeing
totally
there.
fine with. To your point, we take the fence out.
I'll send the
That's really it.
rendering without no trees as well. We'll just, we like it, we like it.
Yeah, but I think the trees give it character, and when you look at that angle where that picture was taken, but I always remember that day, there wasn't a cloud in the sky in the United States.
Fence out of the left side, just.
It was just a blue sky that night or that day, so.
Fence out.
I'll send the
That's really it.
rendering without no trees as well.
Any other opinions, questions for Daryl?
We like it, we like
I mean, if we,
But I think the trees
if we're talking about this to the front of the coin, would it be possible to have
But I always remember that day. there
the
wasn't a
twin
cloud.
towers, just like a watermark going up into the blue sky behind it, behind the memorial, just as a Again, not
I'm
strong.
Yeah, I did try that.
Any other
Just thinking
opinion?
about what
Yeah, it was, we liked it, because I thought the same thing of trying to have some type of,
the front of the coin would be possible
the
to have
background, and it just, it was too
twin
much.
towers, just like a watermark going up into the blue sky behind it, behind the memorial. I think I have no additional edits.
Yeah, we did try that. We'll make the changes. Yeah, it was, we liked it, because I thought the same thing of trying to have some type
All
of.
right, moving on, executive session.
Twin towers.
In accordance with chapter
Into the blue sky behind it.
551 of the Texas Government Code,
I think
if during the
have no
course of the
additional
meeting
edits.
and discussion of any items covered by this notice, Kennedale City Council determines in a closed or executive session of the board is required, then such closed meeting will be held as authorized by Texas Government Code Session, Chapter 551, Section 551.071. One of the Texas Government Consultation with counsel on legal matters, Section 551.074. Personal matters, number one, to deliberate, the appointment, employment, evaluation, assignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee. Or two, to hear a complaint or charge against an officer or employee. B, subsection A. Does not apply if the officer or employee who is subject to the deliberation or hearing requests a public hearing. Section 551.072, deliberation regarding purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Section 551.073, deliberation regarding a prospective gift. Section 551.087, deliberation regarding economic development, public hearing. Negotiations, section 551.089, deliberation regarding security devices or security audits and or matters as authorized under the Texas Government Code. If a closed or executive session is held in accordance with the Texas Government Code as set out above, the Kennedale City Council will reconvene in open session in order to take action, if necessary, on items addressed during executive session. Audits and or matters as authorized under A pursuant to 551.072, deliberation regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Being in open session in order to
Make a motion, we go into
if necessary,
executive session.
items okay during executive.
I'll second.
Now 6:41. We close for executive session. 551.072, deliberation regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Being in open session in order.
Make a motion, we go into executive session.
Items okay during executive.
I'll second.
Now 6:41. We close for executive session. 551.072, deliberation regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Being in open session in order.
Make a motion, we go into executive session.
Items okay during executive.
I'll second.
Now 6:41. We close for executive session. 36, and we will reconvene into open session, take any action necessary pursuant to executive session. Item 6, adjournment. Can we get a motion to adjourn? Meeting adjourned. 36. 7 into open 36. Take any action necessary pursuant to executive session. A minute. Item 6, adjournment. Can we get a